Hey everybody, well it's Monday on GavsWeatherVids.com and that can only mean one thing. Yes, it's Europe Day. We're going to have a look at the European outlook. In this video we're going to look at the weather across Europe through the coming week and see what's going to happen. Before I go on video, I just want to talk about the advertising. There'll usually be a video ad over my web videos at GavsWeatherVids.com. Please play those video ads. You'll be supporting GavsWeatherVids.com by doing that. So this is the situation today across Europe, and we've got low pressure here up in the northwest of Europe really dominating, where the high pressure is away to the east, and a lot of high pressure through the Mediterranean as well, as you would expect in the middle of summer. But it's really in this central and northwestern part of the continent that the weather is still quite unsettled. Having a look at the upper air temperatures today, we can see it's quite a cool scene on this northwestern side of Europe. Much of France is quite cool, as is Britain, Ireland, and up in towards Scandinavia, down into many western parts of Germany, and through in towards the Low Countries and Denmark as well. Quite cool. But through the Mediterranean, you've got the heat, and that heat extends up into this eastern and central part of the continent. Some very hot temperatures there, showing up across many parts of Poland and Ukraine, and down in towards Hungary, Austria, through in towards the Balkans as well. Very hot temperatures there. For the precipitation, well, we can see that all the precipitation, or most of the precipitation, is in this northwestern part of the continent. So it's really through Ireland, Britain, France, through into much of Germany, and then up in towards Denmark, southern parts of Scandinavia as well. Very unsettled with some heavy showers and longer spells of rain, and there will be violent thunderstorms mixed in places as well. For the Cape, the convective potential, we can see that for much of the Mediterranean and onto this eastern and central part of Europe, we have got a lot of convective potential here. Much of that convective potential won't be realised through the Mediterranean because the air is quite dry, but certainly this convective potential here on the eastern side of Europe, particularly centred around Poland and through in towards Ukraine as well. Much of that is going to be realised. There will be some very violent thunderstorms as well. We have got some convective potential here in the west and the northwest, and that's mainly down to the fact that we've got thundery showers in this part of the continent. It's really a west-east split in terms of temperature. This western side is on the cool side, much of Britain, Ireland, France, down in towards northern Spain, even temperatures well below where they should be. Much of Germany on the cool side as well. Once we get onto this eastern side of the continent, really is very, very hot indeed through these eastern places. Temperatures well up in towards 100 Fahrenheit in a number of places in this southeastern part of the continent. In fact, above 100 Fahrenheit, up to 40 Celsius in some places. A very, very hot scene in the east. Well, having a look at the pressure chart for Wednesday, and by the time we get through to the middle of the week, we're starting to find high pressure building here across much of the British Isles and through into Ireland and France as well. High pressure is beginning to take over, so the pattern is starting to change, but this is probably a temporary pattern change. I don't think it's going to last too long. We'll probably revert back to the pattern that we're used to for this summer. For this northern part, it's still very unsettled, though. For Scandinavia, it's still quite cool, and there's still low pressure here really in control. So temperatures are picking up on this western side through the course of the middle of the week. We will find warmer air starting to push up with that build of pressure. Really much of the continent is becoming quite warm then, although on this eastern side, if anything, those temperatures are beginning to cool a little bit, and that's usually what you find happens actually. As it warms in the west, it often cools in the east, but the really cool area is up over Scandinavia. That's where the temperatures will still be well below average. For precipitation, well, it's still quite an unsettled scene on this northwestern side, though France is drying out, but for Ireland, Britain, up in towards the Low Countries, northern parts of Germany, still some showers and longer spells of rain. And then once we get up into Scandinavia, it's a very unsettled scene with heavy showers and heavy rain, in fact, in some places. But really the central, southern and eastern parts of the continent, a lot of dry weather here, some thunderstorms over the Alps, but really the Mediterranean certainly is very, very dry, as you would expect in the middle of summer. The convective potential is easing away as well by the middle of the week. That's as pressure is starting to build. We find a lot of those thunderstorms dying out in these central parts. Still convective potential through the Mediterranean, but as I explained in these videos, because the air is dry, that convective potential is not realised. Temperatures, well, picking up here in the west. It is turning warmer through much of Spain, Portugal, through in towards France as well. Those temperatures really starting to respond, getting up in towards the high 30s across some southern parts of France by the time we get through to the middle of the week. And temperatures picking up for Britain, Ireland, Germany, Denmark as well. But at the same time, it's cooling a little bit on this east side. We're losing the extreme heat in these eastern parts of the continent. Now, once we get through to next weekend, Saturday, we are going to find that high pressure being centred over these central parts of Europe. But already the pattern is beginning to break across the northwest. We're starting to find low pressure beginning to come back here towards Ireland and Britain, just breaking the pattern down. But I say the bulk of the continent will be under this area of high pressure, so a lot of fine weather over Europe as we get through to the end of the week and the weekend. For upper air temperatures, well, very hot through much of France, some really high temperatures coming up there. Temperatures really will be lifting up, and very hot through Iberia as well. In fact, this western side of the continent is quite warm. As I say, the eastern and northeastern part of Europe is cooling down as that heat pushes up into the west. It cools down in the east. That's just one of the balancing acts that tends to take place over the continent. So we can see that we are starting to bring in thundery showers into Ireland and the UK once we get through towards Saturday. The pattern already beginning to break down up in the northwest. But look at this, the bulk of the continent really will be dry. Dry weather extending through much of Portugal, Spain, France, Germany, even up into Scandinavia. We're drying out, and we're dry on the seaside as well, although there could be some thunderstorms breaking off around Greece and Turkey, and some storms there in western Russia as well. But the bulk, vast majority of Europe will be dry once we get through to the end of the week. Convection, well, we're starting to get some convective potential here over the Pyrenees and stretching up in towards France, Britain and Ireland. That's as that instability starts to come in with the low pressure. We will break the pattern down, break the heat down, and set off thunderstorms, I think, as we move through the weekend. But the bulk of the continent, no convective potential. It's hardly surprising because we're under a big area of high pressure. And for temperatures, well, it's going to be very hot here across central southern parts of France and down in towards Iberia. Temperatures up as high as 40, maybe 41, 42 Celsius. That's over 105 Fahrenheit for central parts of Spain. Really will be incredibly hot, and that heat, temperatures above 100 Fahrenheit, probably extending in towards southern France as well. But really, this northwestern part of Europe will be very warm, if not hot, but it's cooler on this eastern side. As I say, the cooler air comes down from the north as the heat pushes up into the west. It's one of the balancing acts that we tend to see on the continent. So it does look like becoming very warm across much of west and northwestern parts of Europe as we go for this week. Very hot through Spain, Portugal and into France by the end of the week, and warm or very warm for Ireland and Britain as well, but cooling down in the east where it's currently very hot. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. Come back next Monday. We'll be doing another European outlook on GavsWeatherVids.com. Thanks for watching.